I think, know if I should wait or should I start? How okay.
And action.
Action. Okay. Cool.
Hopefully.
Thank you everyone for joining us. By the way, now I'm addressing the audience and not you guys. Okay. Can the rest of you be on mute for now? If that would be,
Sure.
I think, so that there's no disturbance. Okay. Hi everyone, I'm Gayatri from Chennai Photo Binale, and along with the Habiba and Sakshi, I went first ever online student showcase. Pleased to see all of you here, and especially students of the Teen Photo Academy. G.Trinayana, Vardaan, Shivpratap, and wave for the audience. Okay, awesome. For our audience, what I want you to know is that this program sort of came about organically when we first started the workshop in April or May, I don't remember now. When we started it, we didn't plan for an exhibition at the end. We had thought that it would end. And then as things progressed, we thought, okay, this looks good. This could be something that we could show. And that's how I thought of this idea of an exhibition. And then I knew of other photographers in Tamil Nadu who had been shooting during the lockdown as well. And then we invited them to join this showcase. So thank you to Jaisingh, Kirthana, Indra, and Sunder for joining this showcase. And okay, so initially I thought that I would read out everybody's bios, and then I thought it will get too boring. So now we're just going to put all the bios in the chat window. I think Habiba will do that. And instead, I'm just going to go on my screen and get each of you to just say your name and where you're from, and tell us this one thing you've learned during the lockdown. Okay? Okay, so we're going to start with Indra. You have to unmute yourself. Maybe that's...
Yeah. Hello. Hi.
Yeah.
So I'm Indra Kumar. I'm a photographer based out of Chennai, and I've been working on documentaries and storytelling. And one thing I've learned in lockdown, I don't know, like it's to be more calm and be more present to get through this thing, because it's very confusing. So that's what I'm trying to calm myself and get more present, be in the moment, sort of thing. So that's it.
Awesome. Can we ask Hammad to go next? Unmute yourself, please.
Okay, so one thing I've learned during the lockdown and during this whole Teen Photo Academy is that I really try to be honest with myself with the work I'm producing. So I'm learning a lot about myself too and how I feel. So I guess that's a big step for me.
Awesome. Okay. Desh?
Hi everyone, I'm Desh. I'm from Bangalore. And if there's one thing I've learned from the lockdown is to, maybe be more observant of your surroundings, especially with Teen Photo Academy. It's as Indra said, to be more calm as well. I mean, following the rush of 12th standard for me, I've been taking life a little slowly, binge watching shows, things like that. But I try not to lose track of where I am, and I try to live in the moment. That's what I've taken away from lockdown.
Okay. Trinayana?
Hi, I'm Trinayana. The one thing I learned during the lockdown is I'm trying to shoot more.
Okay.
And I'm trying to play with my camera.
Awesome. Kirthana?
I think I miss the outdoors so much more than I ever knew, but there's plenty going on, and there's so much to observe within your home space itself that I think I haven't given that much attention to the way this lockdown has kind of forced you to do. In a nice way, I've really been enjoying it. It's not, it's been okay so far, but I miss the outdoors. I think I realize how much I miss the outdoors.
Okay. Awesome. Jaisingh?
The lockdown, I learned no need to go for long distance to take photograph. I can take wherever I am. So I can take, I can make picture with my family, my village. So that is the one thing. No need to go to Rishikesh or Kanya outside. So in my place where I am, in my room, in my house, outside my house, so I can make a picture. So that is the more one thing I learned from lockdown.
Awesome. Sunder?
Uh, the medium saved my life basically because I got caught out. Oh yeah, I've been alone for more than 100 days now because I started self-isolating earlier itself, and my entire family is in Bangalore, and I got stuck in Chennai and in my flat. So I discovered my terrace, and I realized it's just opens up, the world to me. So the cameras kept me alive.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. That's so nice. Vardaan?
Yeah, one thing that I've learned during the lockdown is that there is so much potential to do anything and everything inside your house, and you don't need to step outside and face the dangers because, frankly, before I entered this workshop, he just went outside, and if I saw something that interested me, I took a photograph. But now, when I'm at home, I can see things in a new way, and I realize that there is so much potential to capture the smallest thing that it can just become the next big thing. The smallest thing can become the next big thing.
Awesome. And the last person is Shiv.
Hi, I'm Shivpratap. I'm from Bangalore, and one thing I learned during the lockdown is I've been at home for so long that I started cooking, which I never used to do earlier.
I think a lot of us have started cooking that we never used to do. So good. Okay. Awesome. So you started like actually contributing, or you're just like an assistant?
Assistant.
Okay, cool. So I think we are done with intros. And today's order of presentations, how it is going to go is we're going to start with Trinayana, then we're going to go to Jaisingh, Desh, Indra, Vardaan, Hammad, Sunder, Shiv, and then we're going to open this up to open conversation. So each person will get about five minutes. Try to keep it in that time so that we can wrap this whole thing up in an hour. And then, and we also have time for a little bit of discussion. Yeah. So I think now, without any further ado, I will hand this over to Trinayana. No, share your screen, okay, Trinayana?
1 minute.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
What happened?
There's something wrong here.
Okay. So what we'll do is while we.
No, yeah, wait. I just got it. Yes.
Awesome. You want to press present, okay?
Yeah.
So yeah, over to you, Trinayana.
So due to this project, I could explore my house more, and I could observe how I would spend time with my parents, which I don't do much. And it was really fun to do this project. I could explore my house a little bit more and take photographs of stuff I never even thought of taking a photo. This is my favorite part of the house because there are plants around the god, and it really makes it look nice. And I think it resembles peace. So yeah. So these are my favorite dolls. It's just above my study table. So it's really, the poo is really important to me because I can't sleep without it. So this is my garden view. It's the view where I can see out of my balcony. So usually every Saturday, Sunday, we come down, we assemble here at sharp 5 p.m. So there are 20 of us, and we play till 10:30, 11 maximum.
And because of this lockdown, we can't meet regularly, and there is a corona case in my apartment, so we are not allowed to go out anywhere really. So, yeah. So due to this lockdown, I've been drawing more. So I've been trying to draw the walls of my house, and I'm very good at mandala. So my mom likes growing plants at home, so she tries and collects different types of plants, and she tries and keeps it in our corridor. So these are the plants that she grows. So me and my dad, we are crazy office fans. So I've been trying to collect a lot of office posters. So this is one of the most one of my favorite posters, and it's also a famous poster. So this is actually carrots and beans and I mean vegetables. So it's been preserved in this bottle for about 17 years. So it's kind of a showpiece. I don't really know exactly why this kept, but yeah. So once we moved into this house, we set up a small bird cage. So there are miners living in this. So this is the third generation of the miners. So I've set up a GoPro to see the chicks and all. So there are two of them, and they're really cute. So now they've started flying. So we've been trying to shoot that as well. So me and my mom, we like hanging out on the terrace all the time, and we enjoy the sunset with a cup of coffee and listening to music. So I tried taking still out pictures of my mother. So the traditional mask of Sri Lanka. It is believed to ward off evil stuff, and it was pretty interesting to see. So we got it. Yeah, this is about 7 to 8 years old. So this is the picture of my grandma drawing column. So this powder has been eaten by the ants. So my grandmother loves to do this daily. And also she's really good at doing columns. So this is the picture of my grandmother. She usually doesn't like being taken photos. So I had to beg her, and she told yes. So yeah, I've taken 4 photographs of her.
I really like this.
Yeah. And I took a picture of my mom grooming the plants. She loves to do that as well. So this is the picture of my family. It's the unique way. So I love photography and wildlife photography. So my parents have been taking me to the forest from when I was 2 years old, and I really have a lot of patience. And it's also peaceful there, and I've taken a lot of pictures, and I'm also really I was excited to see the animals and all, and also I'm taking advantage of the lockdown to cook as well, and I also cook well.
Yeah. Excellent. Thank you, Trinayana. Thank you so much. I think what's going to happen is, I know everybody might want to comment or have questions. Maybe we can save them for later and then have it part of the discussion. For the audience, we have a Q&A button that you can leave questions in or comments in, and then we can take them up as and when they when we start the discussion. Okay. Can we go to you, Jaisingh? Yeah, I'll just share my screen. I'm going to say something first before I share the screen.
Actually, more than 20 years I'm away from my home. From 6th standard to 12th standard from college, I was studying in the hostel. Then after that, I became a photographer. Also, I went to Mumbai for working in the film industry. I was stayed in away from home. So it been like more than 20 years I'm away from home. The lockdown made me come back to my home. So before that also, I'm not really comfortable about my home because we have lot of issues with my grandmother's school and things like that. So I always I told about my father, we can sell the land, we can go somewhere else. But my father, he always said, everywhere, if we go everywhere, the same issues happen, so we can't go. Now we have a school, we have some land over here, so we have to live here. So this was the thing. So after lockdown, I was before lockdown also I was taking some pictures. Then I realized that as a photographer, we always go outside, like going for Kumbh Mela, going for a Dasara, going for a Kuwaga festival. So then I realized that so my home is very important. As a photographer, I'm always taking outside people. I'm always taking a very everyone is intimated like that. So there is a self question about me whether I can take my family like the same intimacy. So that's the question started me. So I use as the lockdown and try to shoot from my home. So this story in the beginning I used to share in Instagram, like in the time of Corona, during the time of Corona, something like that. Then shooting during the day, like after a month, I keep looking at the picture. I saw a lot of the fish tank I shot in my home. So suddenly I felt one day I feel like a fish because the whole house became a fish like that. So you can't go outside, no. So the fish also inside that can't go. So I felt like that. So I made this story like I feel like a fish. So that's the story behind it. So still it's ongoing project. So from there, after lockdown, I want to go to my grandmother place, and I want to more explore my roots. I tried to find out. She migrated like 8 years before she migrated to this place. So I want, as a grandson, I want to go to my grandmother place to shoot like that.
Okay,
So
awesome.
yeah, you can share the picture.
Yeah,
and
actually, I was thinking about the title. I feel like fish, and I was wondering what it means. But could you explain this once?
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry, wrong share. Can you guys see, or I'll just share my desktop, I guess. Can you see this?
Yeah, you can see your desktop.
I don't know why the order is changed.
That is the you can put it in order out.
I'm putting it in order. I'm putting it 1 second. Yeah. How about now? Is it okay?
No. This is the first picture. And go for second picture. I can just check it whether it's working or not. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll go from the first week. I can. So before the lockdown, they was announcing that we don't have the shops going to close and things like that. So I went to market to buy vegetables and groceries. Then I suddenly turned this in the shop. Then I saw the two girls are supposed to go to the school. Then they was having a chat about can we can go school or not, because there was a little bit discussion. Then I saw the funny, they were standing in a like two people like that. So it was like a very interesting. So I clicked the picture. Then it's like about my village, and it's about I can start with my market, something like that. Yeah.
Next.
Go for the second picture. This is my house, and like a few years before, my nephew had a birthday. Then I saw the it's like a 2-3 years before. So I thought it's more meaningful for me that even though the wall, the letters and everything, then the backlight coming, the screen was there. So I thought, okay, I click the picture of the interior of the house.
I'll say next when you want me to go, okay?
Yeah, next, yeah. This is my father. He only gave me a camera like 2002. When I was studying, I never took any picture. Like even though 20 years of photographer, I never took any photograph. I have small guilty. So he was playing with my nephew and niece and all in the morning. There was a window next to him in the right side. So he was casually was playing with him. Then I went to, I ran away, took my camera phone and I clicked the picture. He didn't know I am taking the picture. Then I felt okay. I was so happy that after so many years, I can take my father portrait.
Right.
Yeah, the second next picture. Yeah, this is all you can see all the suitcase and the box and everything. My books and negatives. I've been shooting my first 10-year career is everything like a film. So all the suitcase and the box, everything, my books and negatives and prints and all. So actually, my first camera, I thought I lost my first camera. Then I asked my brother to take all the boxes. No, then I find out my camera was inside the box. So I find out my camera, like my first camera. So that is more important for me. Like yeah. So next, this is our my nephew, and also that day was April 14th, Ambedkar Remembering Day. So my brothers and everyone was in the party. So we kept the photograph and we did small garlic and things like that. That time my nephews and everyone playing, so I thought okay, we'll make one picture of them. So very casual picture, and both nephew are watching the laptop, and one nephew was he was like pretend to talk the call. So most of the time I never take a phone. I never my phone is in somewhere. So I saw the actions. I run away, could take a camera and take a phone and click the pictures. I never wait for the picture. I forgot the photo. Basically, I am a photographer. I just be aware of that something happening. Just I take my phone and click the pictures. Yeah. Next picture. This is my mom and my nephew. So they was always they play. They have a small staircase and they will every morning they coffee or they'll come and sit. So when I went to we have first floor. Then coming down they was nicely they holding something. Then I just click the picture because my mom is the oldest and my nephew is the youngest in my family. So I felt like that the old and youngest people in the thing. So I don't want to show their face. I just want to show them in a different way.
Beautiful.
Yeah. This is my sister, and she works as a teacher. And during the lockdown, so all my family came here, and we are like 15 people are now. Right now, we are staying like a joint family. Already, my brother also staying. My two brothers are staying with my parents. So my sister also came because my nephew growing up here with my mother. So all the years she don't have a time. So this time I thought she after long time she in the day she's like a sleeping like a completely rest. So I saw that it's very beautiful for me, like a very important for her taking rest in the lockdown.
Yeah.
So yeah, second next picture. So this is the fish. My nephew and I'll take care of the fish. So before I used to come, I never had any feeling about the fish. I never took any care. I never see this, but do keep taking the photograph. Then I felt like that I'm like also fish because lockdown they said don't go to the home. Self isolation and things like that. As a person like a nomad and keep traveling, I know I'm not a person to be in the home. So after this picture, I felt like that I'm also like a fish. So the house became a kind of fish tank. I'm in the house that I'm like a fish. Yeah. Yeah. This picture actually last 6 months I'm taking a lot of picture of my nephew whenever coming. So we have a small glass door, and he was playing with there, and I'm sat outside, and he was looking at me, and he playing like a monkey and things like that. Then I connect that I need a picture for the next fish because he also like behind the class and breathing like that. And also it's a funny way and a childish way and like a monkey kind of so many things this picture capture like a mask and the eye and the backlight of too much of things. It kind of it gives me like the moment his eyes, and he came to nearby the window and come to the, so it's like a very good moment for me, so I click the picture. Next one. Yeah, this is my niece and nephew. So my nephews growing up with my grandmother, so with my mom. So my sister and my niece will always come in the Saturday Sunday only. So he will miss her a lot. So now the lockdown, they spending time together. So when they was bed, they was like the morning one day they was like playing together. Then I saw the like brother and sister togetherness for after long time. So then I this picture for me, both of them spending time is more important. The intimacy is, so I try to click the picture.
Is that it? That's it, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Jaisingh. Thank you so much. That was really beautiful. Okay. Next is Desh. So Desh, we're going to share your screen, right?
I'll share my screen now.
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So what is home? It's a really simple question, but to truly capture the idea of what home means, you need to venture into the depths of your mind. You need to connect with the people you love, and you need to find things that matter to you most in life. So to do this, I made this photography series. It's the ritual that my mom and I do on the weekends, and that's basically making gnocchi, which is a type of pasta, from scratch, making the dough, making the sauce, everything. And the start of this project really captures the beauty in my mom's cooking, how simple the ingredients are, where love is obviously the most important. Mashing potatoes is really, really important skill, as simple it may seem. Then later on, we kind of delve into the techniques my mom uses to cook these ingredients. And it's really, really fascinating to me because somewhere down the line, I'm going to need to learn how to cook myself. And lockdown has proved to be really, really helpful because my mom transfers these recipes to me through her cooking. And I'm grateful to her for the time she spent trying to help me make the series. And it's just different angles which I could capture my mom's cooking, because I'm really, really fascinated by the way she cooks. It's always been I've always wanted to learn how to cook like my mom, because that's the thing that reminds me of home the most. The way she kneads the pasta dough, it's an art in its own, as you could see from these pictures. She rolls the pasta dough into little bite-sized pieces. That's how gnocchi comes about to be. Here are some nice shots I took of the gnocchi before it's cooked. This is the stove. So this is where my mom spends most of her time. And she likes these paintings up here, these Japanese paintings. It's really nice to look at. There are some shots of my mom actually putting the gnocchi into the pot of boiling water. She's garnished it with a couple of herbs. Some shots of my mom actually cooking the gnocchi. And this is what the gnocchi looks in its final stage. The presentation of the dish is almost as important as the dish itself, because it gives you the appetite and the will to eat it. And it's really, really nice the way my mom presents it. Here's my mom making another type of gnocchi in red sauce. And my sister she wasn't present during the first part where my mom was making the dough, but she likes to, peep in at the end, get an early taste before everyone else. And she loves grating cheese and, garnishing the gnocchi with cheese. And she's very helpful that way. A shot of my dad just walking out of the room. And in the end, the subjects of this this project weren't really the gnocchi or my mom or myself. It was just my family were there at the end of the whole process of making gnocchi to enjoy it. And that's what matters most, is family. And that's the end of my project. I am an avid reader. I love reading sci-fi and biographies. I love Formula One. It's my favorite sport, and I compete in national level speed cubing competitions. That's my project. Thank you.
Thank you, Desh. That was lovely.
Thank you.
I hope some of you are hungry now.
Yes.
Awesome. So now we move on to Kirthana and Indra. How are you guys doing the two screens?
Indra's going to be sharing his screen.
I'll be sharing this.
So I'll let you guys start on your own. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Ooh.
Ouch.
Okay. So this is a collaborative project that me and Kirthana have been doing throughout this lockdown, and the way it started was we know each other before, for a long time, and we came across this beautiful platform, Stay at Home, where photographers can meet and actually form a conversation through photographs, and in this lockdown period. So we thought it will be a nice idea to sign in and start a conversation, because we live in Chennai, and we just wanted to have a conversation through photographs as a medium. So I just start. So the first picture is mine, and the next one is Kirthana's, and it goes like that. So I started out with this picture, which is a picture of my cousin. So, and it just a very beautiful, simple moment that I liked. And this was Kirthana's response to it.
This was my last picture from that I shot outside before this lockdown started. I used to live really close to the beach, and this was like the weekend just before the lockdown started. So I felt like this somehow had some relevance in the beginning of the COVID conversation.
Yeah,
and yeah, like there was this. You see some play between the moon and I mean, if you see them together, then you kind of see how they sit together.
Yeah, and also one of my friend who is not a photographer pointed out something that's very beautiful. So with this first picture, he was actually trying to make the connection between them, and he kind of felt like this ear was like me asking her to say something, and she responding with the sound of the waves. So it was a very beautiful interpretation of something which we didn't think of. So I thought should mention it, and then I responded with this picture of the pomegranates on my sofa, and then she responded with this. So
he's when I'm seeing, I mean, I saw fruit, and then I guess it was playing at the back of my head, and suddenly I could see this landscape of fungus developing on one of my fruits, and I didn't really find it disgusting. It's kind of beautiful if you look beyond the part of it being fungus, what's forming over there. So that was my response to his picture. And I suddenly felt that after, it started off really poetic, our project. And then the minute I threw in this fungus picture, then I felt like Indra was also, I kind of put him into that space where he was looking at dilapidation. And
yeah,
I kind of felt responsible for that somewhere. So
him down
it kind of took a swing there. So in the next picture, I tried to kind of bring back that mode and kind of be like, hey, I hope you're feeling okay. I'm here if you need anything. And like touch is such a part of this COVID as well. Like I thought that was another point of, relevance in terms of that picture.
Like, I know, and then this actually, like with this picture, the birds one, I thought this was a very interesting response to it. Also, in a way that it kind of connects with the picture, but not visually, but in more thematic ways. But also, it kind of reflects how we feel in this lockdown. We're all just stuck with full of shit. So, and also it was kind of breaking the pattern of how things were going. It was just, and then I was still in this whole disintegrated zone. So, and one second, I think something.
If I can just come in right now, this is such a lovely idea. Like, it's so nice that you're responding to each other, and it's like you were saying that day, Kirthana, texting each other, but with photographs.
Yeah, and it's
exactly.
a very different conversation when you're using a different medium. Like,
and she responded with this picture.
This was actually, I had an eye infection. I had a sty, which I've never had before. And I was actually sending this picture to my ophthalmologist just to kind of let him have a look at what was going on and if I needed medication or anything. And I wasn't looking at the phone when I took the picture, but when I saw the picture, I was like, okay, this is a part of my lockdown phase as well. And it's a bit of like a journal entry. So I tossed it in.
Nice.
Yeah. So, and then this was my response to it. This was something that I found while I was going for my daily walks in the night. And it kind of resembled the eye and the patterns with like multiple eyes or something. And then she responded with this picture, which was quite amazing to me because like with this multiple eyes on the street also has like a multiple prism view, which I thought was a very interesting response to, like how she felt. Also, it was the image itself was just like taking a breath, like taking a moment of pause. And it reminded me of this picture, of bougainvilleas. I love bougainvilleas. So like I wanted to respond with this picture. And then she came back with this, like this picture had like a sort of longing to it. Like it was very, like the way she looks into the camera had like so much of longing and like wanting to get out or something. And this was my response. Like, so like I was kind of reacting to the feeling that she was throwing at me, and she was kind of reacting to the feeling that like I was giving back. So it went to and fro, and this was her picture. Like, want to talk about it, Kirthana?
Yeah, to me, the previous image, I was somehow getting the feeling that Indra was out a lot, and through this lockdown, I've kind of, even though I love being outdoors so much, I've not made any effort to really go out. I've been keeping myself in. So while he was like, for me, this image was someone who was outside looking at the sky. I was sitting in my living room, staring at sunset on my TV, which was the reality of what things were for me over here. So that's what that response was. I was watching a movie and I saw the sunset there, and I was like, wow, this is where I'm watching the sun go down on TV. So yeah, that was mine.
And I responded with this moon, which I shot in the night. So when I go to my terrace, I just look up the moon. Like it was a full moon day, and it was quite beautiful. So I responded with this, and kind of in response to the sunset. And she responded with this bat. It's like, do you want to talk about something?
I mean,
more like the fall of the evening, the start of the night.
It's around. It's I guess it's complementary to the moon, and
yeah. And
it's
then
what I'm looking out at from my balcony. There are lots of bats that come out at around 7 in the night, and they make quite a racket. But I've not had bats that close in a while, and I've been spending so much time just sitting in my balcony looking outside at what's going on. So, and that was something that I've been looking a lot at.
And this is the last picture that I've responded with. This is another picture of my cousin while he was contemplating some deep things, maybe. But so this is something that's still in progress. We are still shooting it. And what I thought, which was very beautiful about this whole process, was that it was quite organic, the way it started and the way we went about it. And we kept sharing feelings of how we felt. Like when I felt very sad, it reflected on my picture, and she responded with something that kind of had a similar feeling. And it was more like, yeah, like a telephonic conversation through photographs that we kept building on other person's response. So it was a very organic, play, funful thing which we did throughout this lockdown.
I'm so
And
glad he asked me, because I mean, now there's some record of what I've been dealing with through this phase as well.
yeah,
I think for all of us, there will be at least the people on this panel. There'll be something that you will, maybe I don't make anything, but there's something that you can keep, and maybe a few years later you can see, okay, this is what I make during the lockdown.
Yeah, just some
Yeah.
evidence of it.
and it is quite reflective of the time and how we feel during this time, like the emotional feelings that we go through, and also how we feel stuck in this place. And it's reflective of all those things that we went throughout this time period. So it was a very fun experiment which we did.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
I'm
you.
too hard because I feel like we're a little bit behind.
Yeah, sure.
Vardaan, would you want to start off with yours?
Yeah. Just sharing my screen. Okay. Can everybody see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. So, what is home? When I was first asked this question, I thought of it as it was a very complex question because I wasn't asked this before. What does home mean to me? It brings out a wide variety of answers from my side, because really I am really a strange person when you have to ask this question, because home is for me an idea. Whenever I establish a connectedness with an idea, I have that connection of home. So an idea can come out from any place. It can come out, wait, so it can come out when I'm in my garden, when I'm with my family, when I'm somewhere else. Home is an idea, and when you get connected to that idea, you feel at home. And in some places, that idea transcends into places. In some places, that idea remains as an idea. But the homely feeling that you get is sort of extreme, and it's sort of sometimes indescribable. Sometimes you just cannot describe what home feels to you. So through this progress, I ventured from outside my home into inside my home. I documented interactions with my family. I documented my interactions with nature, and in the end, I also included a surprise. And so, yeah. So this was before I was preparing for another project organized by the Teen Photo Academy. So I was in the balcony. I was looking at the views, and I thought that I was clicking random pictures, and then when I went back to Mars, I thought that this was a very interesting photograph, because I worked with I worked with the black and white preset for the first time ever, and this the result that came out was very, very interesting. And I just felt very, I felt very proud of capturing this photograph, because during the autumn months in September and October, there's a lot of leaf fall, and this kind of image I cannot capture at that point in time. So I felt very happy when I saw this photograph in my gallery, that I took this photograph. Um, this is some similar setting. This is closer to sunset, so the kind of lighting that I get in Noida around sunset is unbeatable. It allows me to capture some amazing photographs. Uh, yeah, so this photograph I took after I had returned from a drive with my father. This was the first time I had stepped outside the home in almost 2 months. The first time I got inside a car after 2 months. We'd just gone for a short drive, and it had rained earlier the day. So when I came back, the lighting as well as the view in the street and the mist surrounding it created for a suburban atmosphere. I originally placed an edited photograph over here, but then it was heavily contrasting with the next photograph, which was this. So I have a large garden on my terrace, and my grandfather works very hard on it. He cultivates quite a lot of plants. He cultivates vegetables as well over there. and the scenery that the scenery that's over there is very interesting. It's sort of like a mini botanical garden on my terrace. So I visited. I am on the terrace often, and I find myself just staring at the plants in wonder. So I was just shooting some photographs for this project, and I thought of this creeper plant which was partly owned, which was creeping over the railing and everything like that. And I just went from a lower angle to capture the complete height of this, and I, it it was a very strange plant because I didn't see it 1 week ago, and all of a sudden it just erupted out of nowhere, and it was. Uh, this is another photograph from the same day. Was initially looking to focus mainly on the plant because, but then I transfixed by the image of the shadow that was happening in the background and the entire image of a sort of a pseudo jungle being created over here. And so I thought, why not, just look at what this is. So I had explored the technique of image within an image, to keep one thing, the thing in the foreground out of focus and the thing in the background in focus. And I explored this technique with this photograph. I originally didn't keep it in mind, but when I was looking back at this photograph, I thought that this is an interesting learning curve. This I try to take photographs inside my house of random things at points, and I was in a session with my classmates. We have regular Zoom sessions in the evenings sometimes, and I was just bored during that time. So I was looking up at the ceiling, and I thought, and I was just looking, and I saw these design on the ceiling, and it was two-way, and that's very interesting. This is very interesting imagery. I captured it from the selfie camera, and it looks as if there's a mirror on the wall, and it's divided my room in two parts, and it creates for an interesting viewing experience for me because I hadn't observed it earlier. So this is a photograph that I took while I was, really bored after online classes, and I was just beginning to start with online piano playing lessons. I purchased to play the piano, and I was taking it. And my mother has this habit of asking me to document stuff. That if you're writing something, you need to document it. If you're reading something, you need to document it. Similarly with piano, if you're playing the piano, you either need to take the photograph or you need to show me the progress wherever you're doing. So I took this photograph, and I thought that this is the original color. I edited it slightly, but I felt that apart from documentation, a photograph has multiple. It's just not for the purposes of pleasing your parents, but also it can mean many things to you personally and professionally as well. This is a symbolic photograph. My grandfather does quite a lot of puja around the house. So these are lamps that he lights usually every day. Sometimes he misses them. These are traditional Diwali lamps which he purchased, and now he uses to light them. And this is symbolic, and I feel that the lighting in this situation really complements this because I'm able to capture all the colors and keep them in focus, and it was really lucky situation. Yeah. So, like I said, I live in a joint family with 7 people, and I have a lot of puja going around the house at all times during the day. My grandmother both my grandmothers are always doing some sort of puja, and the Purnima ritual usually happens every 15 days on the full moon day, and it's a very complicated ritual. It involves around 3 to 4 hours of working and praying in the puja, and my mother is usually involved in this. And I captured this photograph straight up out of bed, and I didn't focus on the framing and anything. But looking back at these photographs, I feel an emotional sense of connectedness with my family members. This photograph is a play on the lockdown. These two clips are symbolism for people who are not able to be together because of the lockdown, and this is this. I originally came here as a lonely setting because they're devoid of the purpose at the moment, and now uh, it creates a sort of poetic sense in my mind, which I didn't think of originally. I was asked to look at the archives of a photograph to see if I could include any things and to evoke the sense of a home. And this is home away from home for me in the literal and metaphorical sense. This is outside my uncle's place in the United States, and he's a really interesting man. He treats us very well. He cooks for us. He has a great collection of movies over there, and it's really a home away from home. He has wide variety of influences, and it's always an interesting experience visiting him. This final set of photographs is sort of a time progression that I've figured out from my archives. This is me and my family in 2007 when we visited my uncle for the first time. When I visited him for the first time when I was just a little kid, and this is just a progression of time, and here we are about 13 years later. My grandparents, who have now at this point almost lost all their teeth and have grown 12 years older, and I'm just really happy because even after that, I stayed with this family for my entire life, and we don't fight very much. Even with 7 people in the house, you expect there to be noise, but there's still a great deal of calm that I feel that passed over. And this is the last. This is my self-portrait, which I managed to capture after many attempts. I don't really like taking selfies or looking at the cameras when people are taking photographs of me, but I feel that this sort of captures a different sense of personality. It's sort of in the moment for me, and that is what ends my project for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vardaan. That was lovely. I'm glad I got you to put that last photo in. It was nice, even though you don't like it. Okay, awesome. So let's chop it up because we have like 7 minutes left. So we have 3 speakers. Okay, Hammad, can you take our screen? And maybe what you can do is while you're presenting, Hammad, wait, where is he?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. I thought we lost you. Maybe turn your video off while you're presenting, just so that the bandwidth can be preserved. We've had some trouble because he's in Srinagar, and sometimes when he's showing the screen, it just kind of crashes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, yeah, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so we were supposed to work on this project at a time when I had spent nearly 8 months away from home at my school. And at that point, my supposedly complex identity made my interpretation of home very difficult for me to comprehend. So home has always been more of a emotional construct for me rather than a physical entity. And I have found the idea of home to some extent in the word peace. This project is a part of my never-ending journey in search of it. I have tried to supplement my photographs through captions, some of them through captions, whereas I have left others as they are. I won't be speaking much about the photographs. I'll let the captions and the photographs do the talking, and I hope you like this project. Okay. So this was my life at two different places I call home, and now is the journey back home. And I finally found my home after 10 months. So um, I have been photographing since a long time. When my father first handed me a camera in 2012, maybe, and that was an impetus for me to include pictures from my archives in this project, because I have tried to grasp at the idea of home from a long time now, and I think this is something that will never end. So yeah, that's me, Qazi Hammad.
Thank you. I just wanted to point out, Hamad, remember how we discussed putting on audio? But I think the
Oh,
sound of the birds chirping was so nice. I don't know if everybody else could hear it, but I could hear these birds chirping. And I was thinking, oh, wow, that's so much better than a soundtrack.
yeah, well, nature helped me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Hamad. We'll move on to Sunder. Sunder, are you ready? You're on mute, Sunder, so please unmute yourself.
I think we're going to, I'm going to have to rush through this whole thing because I have a lot of images.
Well, let's see what we can do. I mean, let's keep it to like 5 to 7 minutes. Maybe you do one series instead of two, Sundar. Let's see what you.
No, it's just, it's not about series. It's like a progression. So I'll tell you what it is. For me, it's like a pretty much opposite of what Jaisingh went through, and a little bit of opposite of what Kirthana and Indra managed to have. In the sense that Jaisingh feels like he was like boxed in an aquarium or like in a fish tank, but he had so many people around him. For me, on the other hand, I was like stuck in a little flat with nobody else around. I haven't seen anybody in 100 days, but I went up to my terrace and I created this whole space, of, I said, the sky is mine. I don't have to worry about, being between walls. So I did this. I started shooting birds.
Yeah, I think it's okay if we go a little over time, Sundar. So don't worry. I mean, I think I was sort of prepared. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Can you see this? I'm not sure.
Sorry to the people who need to leave that we've gone over time, but I did think people would be able to do it in 5 minutes, but I think it takes a little bit more time to explain your work. Yeah, we can see your desktop, Sundar.
Okay, great. Okay, just one second. Let me see if I can make this into view. How do I make this full?
Just use the, can you see the top left? There are two icons, top left of your, yeah, just use the second one. Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just started shooting birds purely because I felt like as if, the wings and their flight and all those things gave me a sense of space. I felt like I was flying around. I now felt boxed in. So I did a whole series of birds. I'm just going to rush to these.
And these are the ones that you've been posting as well, right?
Yeah, all these are the ones that I've been posting. So my interaction, like Kirthana and Indra had with each other, my interaction has been with like a very wide range of audiences, because what was beautiful was there were a lot of people who started doing terrace stories. I'm calling these terrace diaries, and a lot of people started doing these terrace stories and started like sending me images every day. It was just beautiful. So it wasn't just me seeing my own terrace and the views around my own terrace. It ended up becoming like me getting to see everybody else's also. There was a lot of interaction with absolute strangers also. And I started using a lot of negative space as well. Apart from going up close to the birds, I started using a lot of negative space. I started getting a lot of migratory birds over my terrace. I found a beehive suddenly came up from nowhere. And, that's also a sense of home and seeing them build it. And there's this beautiful African tulip tree that's right next to the terrace. And a lot of beautiful birds keep coming there, you know, like they keep coming to that terrace, to that tree. And all these are shot from one spot. They were all shot from just one spot. And I grew up in the Valley School, where we have thousands of birds. In fact, it's a hotspot for wildlife. This connected me back there. It took me to all my happy spaces. And each day I found new things to shoot. I mean, I've shot more than, I think, 35 to 50 different things. And, you know, for me, this also, coming from Bangalore, this also gives me a longing of wanting to go back home, as well as the fact that the virus came through flights. So, you know, there were a whole bunch of connections to that. I also got a lot of comments about how my birds look like they've been put in a studio and shot. So it was really interesting for me, being a studio photographer and being someone who's used a lot of lights, to go back to the basics of, you know, just using the sunlight. The different positions of the sun just got me some fabulous shots, you know, like it was just, I really enjoyed exploring that part of my work also, which I've never done in a long time, you know, like, and I've never shot birds before this. I've never ever shot birds before this. So the interaction with the birds, the lines that nature is giving us, like, you know, just the backgrounds that they give us, the stories that they tell, was just, I was fascinated.
Wow.
So then I started doing stuff like this, you know, like, because I could see this happen over there, but I couldn't reproduce it in my photographs because I was freezing them. So then I came and started doing these things of, you know, overlapping movements and stuff. This for me is very typical, because I was boxed in by this fenced terrace, and the little bird is teasing me, coming and sitting on it and saying, hey, you know, I'm from the outside. I get to see you from here. So it felt like as if they were looking at me like I was in the zoo. And, you know, like just simple things like the clouds ended up looking so gorgeous. I mean, like every little cloud was interacting with me. Every little flower, you know, like every day was a new day. I mean, like even now, every single day, I've shot for more than 100 days now. And I'm just amazed. And I also have to tell you that I don't have any special bird lenses and stuff. I've been shooting the 7200. So it's all these things are very close to me. They're not things that I'm shooting from far. And this is interesting for me because the clotheslines have come in over here. I wanted to bring the clotheslines in some interesting way, and I did this. I want to include that from the terrace. And yeah, I mean, like, I started finding rare birds. There's a tree pie, which I didn't even know. It's just incredible what, yeah, I like this connection also. I love this shot.
Nice. I would have thought you'd only see crows, you know, but it's amazing that you're seeing.
I'm not joking, Gayatri. I think there are at least around 50 different species of things that I've shot. And yeah, and this beautiful tulip flower, you know, the connections that it connected with all the other, you know, birds that came there was just fabulous. And the lines that it gives us. And over time, all the leaves have fallen off. So now they start giving me like perfect lines. And this clothesline with this, it just feels like it's a bird perch. The regular pigeons that come, the colors that I see, the quail, which is one of the most difficult things that I found to shoot initially, they've now come and they sit in droves right outside. This I got up into my tank and shot.
This looks like a shot that we saw in Indra and Kirthana series.
Yeah, one of the two wings. That's why I was smiling when I saw that. And even the bat.
That bird is the same bird.
Sorry?
That is the same bird, the previous one before the bat.
Wings too. Yeah, so and even the bird, I mean the bat, the fact that it's supposed to be associated with Corona and all that stuff, it was just fascinating when I put it up, the kind of comments I got. Even this for me is like really fascinating. It feels like an alien, you know, like this whole, the capturing of this bee feels like a wasp, feels like an alien, you know, and I love the lines that the fence was giving. And there's so much love. I mean, like for a guy who's stuck alone, seeing this every day is like it's voyeuristic. It's like seeing, you know, and look at this. I mean, that could be me sitting there and wishing that I could have the love that these people had. It could be me looking at my neighbors. But anyway, yeah. So then you have. It was really fascinating because every single day I was learning more about the camera. You know, it's surprising, having been a professional photographer as long as I have, that I didn't know the camera could do so much. I mean, I kept trying out new settings. I kept trying out new ways of doing this. And I was so fascinated and happy that I was restricted to one lens and just the sun, because then I just figured out different times of the day to go and shoot them. I was getting better at finding these birds because of it. I learned to listen to them. So photography is a lot more for me about listening now, about feeling, about knowing that there's something happening around me, even though I'm looking in one direction. It was just unbelievable. I never even knew these things existed in my flats. I mean, everybody asked me if I was in a bird sanctuary. The other thing that happened was I've gone through at least around, I think now 3 full moons, having been in lockdown. So I managed to shoot the moon also in a few different ways. So this was one of the things I did with the full moon. I played around with it and had fun with it. This is another one that I got. I learned a lot on processing because of how difficult it is to shoot the moon with a 200 mm lens. Again, the correlation with the fence and the moon, and this happened while the tripod was not steady. So I really loved what happened with it, you know. And this was again on one of the full moon nights. I mean, sorry, one of the evenings. I shot them late evening, and I've darkened the entire thing to make it feel like what I could reproduce on the full moon night that I saw. Yeah, and then this was actually what I started feeling in between. I started when I started going grocery shopping and stuff. I started feeling the actual situation creep into my life. So I started exploring this whole thing with a mask, and that said the thing that Corona ball is actually an exercise ball that helps you release muscle aches. So I just started exploring that also, just on the terrace. You know, just different things that you do. You have to use a straw through your mask. I go grocery shopping, which I've never done. You know, and then I went from that. I started getting worried about money. I started trying to figure out, what do I do? I'm enjoying all this stuff, but I have to pay my rents. I have to figure out how to make money. I'm a professional photographer. How am I ever going to make money? So I started doing what is strange is I found two friends of mine who were actually celebrities. They're actors, and they live next door. They're both my neighbors. So I managed to find a series that started off with them and then went on to the other people also. I shot a bunch of models, both directly from my terrace and some through video calls. And this got published, and it went viral, gave me work. So I started exploring this. This was directly from my terrace. We shot from water tank to water tank. And this was Lekha. She's in Bombay. She's stuck in one of the worst COVID affected areas. We managed to shoot in her studio via phone. This is again Hansika in Bombay, shot via phone. I was really surprised the kind of quality that we were able to get. This is Samaya. She lives in Boat Club. Managed to drop off a tripod for her, and then we shot again with her, setting up everything on her own. And yeah, so I managed to do these shots. This is Catherine in Hyderabad, and again, it was surprising, how it varied from person to person, because each one had a different kind of tool that they had to use. And first time they were trying to do stuff where they did everything. So they're so used to having everybody else do stuff for them. And all of them, people who are used to being in the film industry, but this was all set up. They were standing out in hot terraces without makeup on. And it also gives you a sense of their homes, right? Like what they do when they're at home. This was again one of my neighbors. She was getting shot by her mother, who's a Bharatanatyam dancer, and she was shooting her daughter, who's a singer, and she was shooting a video of it. And I managed to shoot this series again. Okay, that was from the Girl Next Door series. This is my friend Andrea. She's a film actor. We decided to shoot her through glass, standing around more than 500 meters away, I guess. And so you see grains, but what was amazing was we put her in a box to say that, she's boxed in, it's a frame. And the layers of an actor come through the glass itself, the layers of the glass. And I love the patterns on the glass. So this was part of that series. And I'll just quickly show you when the rain came in. Suddenly there was a splatter, like just for around 5 minutes one day. And it was a great respite from the hot terrace. So I managed to get these shots in, all from one spot. This was actually the leftover rain that was falling off a pipe. So this was from that. It was just falling, not from the pipe, sorry, from the clothesline, because the clotheslines are, they sag in the center. So they're all coming to one point, and the leftover drops are falling in that little puddle. And yeah, I'll wrap up with just what I did. This is my first paid shoot since the lockdown started. It gave me some kind of hope, and it also gives hope to a lot of other photographers who do the kind of work that I do. I do editorial work, so I managed to do this for a client, and we did it for JFW. And again, it was shot with 3 different phones that were set up on 3 different tripods that the model set up herself, and we shot in and around the house. So this was done, and I'm really thrilled with the kind of quality that I've got over the past 3 months. Just some quality, not more than not more for the style, but more for how strong the image looks, sharpness wise, and the sizes that we're able to reproduce, which is very important again when you're doing client work. Otherwise, it doesn't really matter. But when you're doing client work, it was amazing that we could reproduce this without me physically being there. So very fascinating to explore that. Yeah, that's it. Sorry to rush through, but thanks. That was part of the journey.
No, it's okay. Sunder, I'm sorry we had to rush, but really good that you showed us a range of things, things from your terrace and, kind of stuff you did for work. Very nice. So let's move on to Shiv. Shiv, can you take over?
Yeah, sure.
Sunder, can you stop sharing?
All right.
At the bottom, I think you might have a stop sharing button. No.
Just one second.
Oh, I can do this. One second. I can do it here.
And it's become a small view. Can you?
I'm trying to do it. 1 second. Stop participant sharing. Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah. Shiv, you can take over.
Yeah.
For those of you who are on the attendees, we have a little poll at the bottom. If you can fill that in, that'll be great. Just so that we know who's joining in here today. That'll be useful for us for future programming. Okay.
Wait, what went wrong?
I think you went to another tab.
Yeah.
Try it one more time. Shiv, are you okay?
Yeah, just a second.
Okay.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So when I was first asked the question, what is home? The first thing that popped into my head was family. Home is where family is. And then when I started thinking, I came to a conclusion that home is not only family, it's where you feel most comfortable, where you're most normal. You're basically yourself at home. These pictures were shot during the lockdown. And these pictures are the ones that remind me most of home and the rituals that take place in and around home. This picture was taken in the beginning of the lockdown. This is Butch and Lulu. Butch is the bull mastiff at the back, and Lulu is the miniature pincer. This is Lulu looking through a box. Butch. This is Thunder and Battalion. These are the 2 horses. Where I live, there is a shelter where they rescue horses and ponies. My sister likes to volunteer over there. So there's like a rivalry between my parents when it comes to gardens, whose garden's better. This is my father's garden. He likes his garden to grow wild and naturally. This is my father sitting in his garden. He used to do this like almost every morning. But now he doesn't do that anymore because there are too many mosquitoes. This is my mother's garden. She likes her plants in pots, and she's more into flowers as well. This picture was shot on an overcast evening when it was all orange. The sky looked beautiful. This is something my father likes to do. He takes like old objects and furniture and turns them into new things. The chairs on the left were recycled from this chair, and the lamp on the top right was recycled from an old lamp. Sorry, from an old sewing machine, and the bottom right was recycled from an old bicycle. This is a self-portrait of myself and Lulu on a walk. I take her for a walk almost every evening. Another thing that my parents do every other evening is go for walks. This was taken at sunset. This is my mother walking. And my father doesn't walk with her because he has a back problem, so he can't walk too much. He cycles over there. This was also taken at sunset. This is a wall hanging picture of myself and my family. And that was my project. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That basically brings us to a close of all the presentations. So I guess what I'll do is we'll try to wrap it up in 10 minutes. If maybe we can start off with the photographers who, do you want to say anything about the student works? We can start off with you, Sunder, and then move on to the rest. Does that work? You're on mute, Sunder.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
First of all, I was fascinated. I wish I could be part of your homes. I mean, like the way you guys have captured it and the kind of emotions that you're showing is just fabulous. I'm like, each one of you had such a unique style. I felt hungry looking at Desh's, this thing. And I also, more than just hunger, I was missing my mother a lot. I loved seeing some of, I'm sorry about the names. I might not recollect the names, but like I remember seeing some beautiful light play on some of the, leaves that somebody had shot. I loved Hammad's.
I think, yeah.
I love. I mean, I wanted to be where Hammad was. When I saw his stuff, I was like, man, I just want to be there. I felt like, like I want to travel again. I want to get out. I want to do what I want. And I just felt it was unique and nice that they didn't end up being similar. Each one had a different interpretation. Not only just interpretation of a home, but the way they shot also. There was a different style to each one of them. It was just it was a pleasure to see what they've done.
Okay. Jaisingh, do you want to say something? Are you there still? Okay, Kirthana?
Yeah, I mean, I loved all of them. I think I was really looking forward to see what you all wrote. Trinayana, I like your soft toys up on the shelf. There was something about it that really stuck with me because I still speak the stuffed animal. But it's nice to see like how much attention you have paid to the inside of your homes. And Hammad, I love the light. There's so much nostalgia in your pictures, even with the quality of light that you've kind of photographed your family in, especially that last sequence, those last three, just, I don't know, they did something.
Yeah.
Indra, you
Go
want
on. Desh, with your work with the food pictures, I think there's so much nostalgia with food. When you first started, I was like, okay, he's looking at the process of food photography, and I was looking more from a product photography kind of angle, like how you would probably get into food photography. But then as it evolved, you kind of see the love slowly trickling in. It starts off just being ingredients, but I like how the narrative kind of built up. What else? Let me see. What else do we see? I think, Indra, do you want to take over?
Yeah, so interesting to see all of the works. I really loved everything. So, and the way they interpret it is to them was very beautiful. Like everyone had their own vision of what they felt home is, and they try to of what they felt home is. I really loved Hammad pictures, that sense of longing and nostalgia to it. And sorry, yeah, I'm very bad.
No,
Yeah, yeah. So the picture of the stuffed dolls was very beautiful. Like it was, it reminded me of my like childhood, and yeah, it was quite something. And yeah, the way that Desh, like told a story about his home through his food, and like through plants and their surroundings. It was quite a interesting, like a collection of works and ideas. And all the I'm very happy to be a part of this.
Thanks, Indra. Jaisingh,
Yeah.
are you back? No?
Can you hear me now? I think okay.
We can hear you, we can't see
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, but there is an internet problem, I think. But yeah, I can. It's really nice to see everyone because I think the lockdown made the responsibility of document our home because everybody have a unique way of looking at the home. So I like everyone's work, and I learned so many things during the lockdown. So same way I felt everyone had a same experience. Especially I really like that the Srinagar walk, and it's really through the pictures how he can narrate to go back to the home and like that. So each one everyone like the same way. The his mother is making a food, and he was explaining the way he was explaining. I can hear his love about his mother through the work. So same way that the girl from Delhi also, she also work with the plants and mother. So everyone like same me also. I can closely watch about my
She's from Chennai, right?
closely. I can after the lockdown I am also very close to my parents, and so same way I think everyone felt going to the parents. And I especially like Sundar's work very much. It's not a student but anyway, it's Sundar's work is really nice. And yeah, and even Kirthana, Indra. So it's really
Thanks
happy
to
to
him.
see everyone work, and thank you Gayatri to inviting her to part of nice time spent with you guys.
Awesome. Okay, guys, that was amazing. If I have 2 minutes of your time, I want to show you. Even we, by the way, Sunder, we did a little bit of a project where the students did video calls, and they shot each other and photographed each other's homes. I'll just quickly run through them so that you guys can see that we also attempted this in one of the earlier assignments that we had. How do I, where each of them photographed, like we paired them up. But maybe now that they've seen your works, they'll be inspired to do more of this with other friends. I like how a lot of them have chosen to leave the screens as they are without cropping them, because it kind of shows you some people use Google Meet, some people use Zoom, some people use WhatsApp. So it was also like a commentary on, I guess, this time that we're in. And if anybody else does anybody else are there any questions, Abiba, or anything on the chat?
We haven't really received any questions yet. But...
Okay, cool. If I mean, these are, I don't know if you guys can see this. That's J.Trinayana watching The Office for the 10th time. She says she's watched all 9 seasons like 6 times or something. But that is it. I think that's the last slide. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Do you want to ask any of us any questions if they want to? Just...
Yeah, actually, yeah. What about you guys? J.Trinayana, Desh, Hammad, Shiv, anything, Vardaan, anything to say, anything to kind of ask? Now would be a good time. And if the audience has any questions, now would be a good time to ask those questions. One person has said, "Hi, Sunder." Okay, yeah. What about you guys? Anything to say? J.Trinayana, Shiv, Hamad?
I don't have any questions really, but I really love the conversations through photographs. I thought that was really, really innovative, and it was really fun to see the responses to the other person's photographs, and it was really creative. And I never thought of that, but maybe something I would do maybe later on with someone else. But it was really fun to see that, and I love the way Sunder captured birds. It was just fascinating to look at the kinds of angles and the sunlight playing with the settings of the camera, and it was really, really beautiful to see. Thank you for sharing your work.
Anybody else? They're a shy bunch.
My internet's glitching a bit.
Okay, cool. So I think we don't really have any questions, but thank you all for joining us on this Saturday afternoon. It was really, really nice.
Thank you.
I had a really good time, and thank you to Habiba and Sakshi who are here, who have been with me throughout to make sure this happens, because this wasn't easy. We sprung this exhibition on the students in the end. We're like, okay, now we're doing an exhibition. So we worked for the last 2 weeks to kind of make sure this happens and comes together. So thank you guys. And that's it. I will say bye. It's just weird.
Thank you, Gayatri. Thank you so much.
It was just so abrupt. But anyway.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you all for sharing. And if you guys want to reach out, you can anytime reach out to me on Instagram or something.
Yeah, I think we, by the way, we volunteered all our photographers' email addresses to the students. If any of you want to be in touch with them or to be mentored or to ask for ideas, I hope you all will be okay with the students reaching out to you.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Please raise them now. Yeah. Okay, cool. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye. Have a good day.
Thank you for having us. Bye.